TJ Jarvis. Med City FC's head coach is Neil Cassidy. Assistant coaches are Mitch Amundsen, Isra Perez, Fabian Becherel, and Tim Jennings. The officials for tonight's game are Connor Tobin, Max Seeger, Victor Demariles, and Josh Forsythe. And now for the singing of our national anthem. Tonight, Dave Stepan will be performing. Dave is a licensed massage therapist at Optimal Movement here in Rochester. He will be playing the role of Joseph in Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat at the Performing Arts Center in Stewartville the first 2 weekends in August. Please rise, remove your hats, and take it away, Dave.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that a flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Dave. And a special thanks to players from Minnesota Rush for serving as ball kids tonight. We're giving all area youth clubs the chance to have players and teams participate as field escorts and ball kids this season. For more info, contact Med City FC. And now, let's play soccer. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Regional Sports Stadium here in Rochester for a huge showdown tonight between Med City and Duluth. I'm Nick Johnson, joining you for the live stream tonight. Good attendance here on a beautiful evening in Rochester. We've been threatened by rain and saw a couple short showers all day, but it's looking awfully nice out there for a June 22nd evening here tonight. And it should be a good one. The rivalry between these two clubs is among the most fierce in the NPSL North Conference, and their 5 previous meetings have resulted in 3 ties and 2 one-goal victories for Duluth FC. So Med City's still looking for their first ever victory against Duluth, and that would be huge this evening as they trail Duluth in the standings by 2 points with 4 games left in the conference season. Of course, Med City tied with Sioux Falls last week, only earning a point. Otherwise, these two teams would have identical records. Med City sits at 5-0-3 in the conference with a 19-8 goal differential. Duluth 6-0-2, 21-4 in terms of goal differential. So, these two teams, neither one has been tagged with a loss yet this season. And they can really build some good distance. Minneapolis City, the other team in the mix, as they have 19 points, so currently they sit in that second spot. But the top 2 teams from this division will make the playoffs. Again, just 4 games left in the conference season. It really is a 3-team race. The Twin Stars FC still have a shot, although they are a good handful of points behind the top three. So it's definitely going to be an interesting end of the season, and a lot of eyes around the NPSL, at least in the North Conference, on this matchup tonight. So thankfully we have been blessed with some beautiful weather, and we're just about ready to get underway. Duluth in their road whites with the green shoulder as we get underway. Med City in the green shorts, blue tops, sponsored by Rochester Toyota. As that one's tipped out of bounds. Since Med City started in 2017, really Duluth has been, they've been a playoff team the previous 2 seasons. So they've definitely become a quick rival of Med City FC as Tristan Jumeau sends this one in over the head, and that header just went wide. Good chance for Med City right off the bat. What a pass by Tristan Jumeau. Couldn't quite see who got his head on that one. I think it was Alan Shembry-Wismeyer, but a corner kick upcoming for Med City. This Mayhem corner kick is brought to you by $5 Pizza. Each time the Mayhem score on a corner kick in 2018, 10 lucky winners will receive a free pizza. Sign up for your chance to win as you enter the stadium. So that attempt went wide, knocked out of bounds, however, by Duluth. So Med City will get another quick chance here. Francisco Neto sent it in from the right. Now he'll go from left of the goal. You see a decent amount of wind here tonight as well. Neto bending that one in. A header goes over the top, and I think again it was last touched by Duluth. So another corner kick coming from Med City FC. Another man brought to you by $5 Pizza. So Neto getting it lined up as you hear the Sawbones Army start to drum away. Neto sending that one just a tad too high. Duluth's defense there. Headed around, Shembry-Wismeyer chasing. Eventually cleared by George Proctor. Now headed forward by Finlay Bloodworth. Receives it here on the near side. Up ahead to Jumeau. Good start here for Med City, showing a lot of energy in the first 2.5 minutes. 3 corners already, of course. So that one passed ahead by Nicholas Raisler. Gets it back on the far side from Iggy Mia. Looking again to go up top. Jack Hilton-Jones passes that one ahead for Marcos Fernandez, who loses the handle on it. And now it's cleared away. Mia keeps it in play. Headed out of bounds by Duluth, and already Duluth starting to show a little bit of whininess towards the officials. That one tipped out of bounds by Lucas Jacobs. So Med City will inbound once again. A frenetic pace to this first 3.5 minutes. Jumeau lining one up, bouncing it in. Just tipped out, and now Bloodworth charging in. Runs over a Duluth defender, and they do blow the whistle this time. So 4 minutes gone, still no score here in Rochester. Ready to start your adventure? Then visit Toyota.com or Rochester Toyota for all the dirt-loving, adrenaline-boosting, thrill-seeking companion Toyota trucks and SUVs. Whether the Toyota Tacoma, Toyota Tundra, Toyota 4Runner, or Toyota RAV, Toyota has a vehicle to start any adventure. Toyota, let's go places. So Duluth finally gets it over to the other end of the field here. Chasing that one down is David Rice. His cross goes a little too deep, so a goal kick upcoming here for A.J. Jarvis, who gets the start tonight instead of Salvador Plaza, who of course allowed 2 goals to Sioux Falls last Saturday in that disappointing draw. Sioux Falls coming into that match only had 6 goals in 7 conference matches, 4 of which came against LC Aris. And so those 2 goals disappointing for Med City to give up, and of course they had plenty of chances and only scored 2 themselves, and were in danger of taking the loss last week as well, as they were down 2-1 till about the 65th minute. Jumeau takes that one off the chest. Back the other way comes Duluth. James Wetsfield in the middle. Is it tipped away? Gets it back in the middle. Lucas Jacobs going near side to David Rice. Rice makes a move. Bloodworth there, but I don't think... Oh, they do allow that shot attempt. I thought Rice was out of bounds before he sent it back. Good play there by Jarvis, because that was a quick one-timer shot from Duluth. And now Med City quickly back the other way. That one off the side of Soham Kathuria. Jumeau going forward, getting pushed by Rice, and they do blow the whistle. Free kick over here. Jumeau going to trade spots with Nicholas Raisler. Raisler, give and go with Francisco Neto. Now attacking in the middle. Goes to Jumeau on the right side. Got a lot of space there in that corner. His cross way high. I think the wind might have drifted that one out away from the box, and now back the other way comes Duluth. At least momentarily. Nicholas Raisler chasing it down. Big news in Duluth. Duluth today, of course, is the Grandma's Marathon. I was one of the 7,500 runners in the half marathon a year ago up in Duluth, so a little humble brag for you there. Decided against it this year so that I could be at this match here tonight. 7.5 minutes gone here in this first half. No score. And the Duluth defense has it now.
No concession stand here tonight, but we do have cold water and pizza for sale by the merchandise booth, where you can gear up and defend the North.
Corner kick upcoming here for Duluth. They spent most of their time in their own zone so far here, other than one quick break. That corner coming in, and a lot of room. Nice play there by Idapoulos to deflect that one away. And Nicholas Idapoulos, one of the better defenders in the NPSL North Conference, cleared that one away and prevented a corner kick in doing so. But Duluth will pass it in from deep in Med City territory. Charging in is Soham Kathuria. And Shembri Wismeyer clearing that one. Nice play. Coming back in, Lucas Jacobs. So Med City takes over possession. And they called that a dangerous play as a Duluth player got a little too high with one of his feet. Of course, these officials always looking for safety. Duluth didn't like the call, but here they are as Tristan Jumeau bending that one in. Can't get it by the defender. Fernandez keeps it around. Jumeau heading it forward. Had another attacker with him, but tell you what, this is a different Med City FC team than what we saw a week ago. Much more energized, much more urgency out of their attacks so far as James Westfield gets behind the defense for a moment. But Med City takes over. It's all for naught, of course, if they can't get the ball in the net on these scoring chances, but you'd rather have this level of effort in the first 10 minutes than have the alternative.
Ever wonder what the PA guy does all week when he's not calling Med City games? I'll tell you. I'm here helping people plan for their future, for their retirement, and for their legacy. See my ad in the program, give me a call, or heck, text me at my cell right now if you want. 507-226-5275. Nick Johnson with Relevant Financial.
Francisco Neto in the corner making a couple nice dekes and now sending it towards the box. It's cleared away. Out of bounds, last touch by Duluth. So Neto will pass it in. Jumeau now with it in the corner. Med City, at least early on here, really attacking the perimeter of Duluth as Neto gets it by a couple defenders. And that one way wide. Justin Jumeau had some space, and I don't know if he was going to try to make a pass there and at the last second tried to bend it in, but it went wide of everything. And so with 12 minutes gone, here comes Duluth. So Duluth with possession here. Some controversy, at least in our booth, over what their nickname is. We think they're the Green Blues. If we're wrong, Twitter, I'm sure, will correct us. They definitely have a multicolor design on the shirts that reminds you a little bit of Lake Superior. Certainly doesn't pay homage to the dozen-plus breweries up there, but I think they're missing an opportunity there. It's just my humble opinion. As Cathuria dribbled that one out of bounds, so Med City has it at midfield. And after a frenetic start, pace slowing just a little bit here, which is to be expected. It's a marathon, not a sprint. As Hilton Jones gets it out near midfield, passes forward. Finlay Bloodworth trying to keep it in. Now Bloodworth with it, dribbling in towards the middle. As I said, Med City's really kind of attacked from the perimeter so far, but they have yet to really drive through the middle of that Duluth defense. That pass too strong there by Med City, and with 15 minutes gone, we sit with no score.
Global Sports Experience Network will be offering its 2019 Destination Barcelona Youth Soccer Camp on August 5th through 9th. Join former Barcelona FC and Spanish La Liga professional players and camp coaches for specialized instruction the Barcelona way. For more information about the camp and to learn how to participate, be sure to visit www.gsindianabarcelona.com. Players to register will be entered in a drawing of a Barcelona jersey signed by Lionel Messi.
Well, free kick upcoming here for Med City after the penalty on Duluth. Francisco Neto is going to drive that one forward and over the heads of all Med City attackers. Like that setup as he was flanked by Nicholas Reisler on the right side to at least momentarily divert some attention away from those forwards for Med City.
A reminder, folks, we're selling pizza and water near the merchandise table tonight. Just make sure you don't spill your pizza on your brand new Med City gear.
"17 minutes gone here in the first half as Duluth passes that one forward. Speedy player out there on the right side as that one's deflected away and out of bounds. I think that was Marcos Fernandez who got in the way of that one, but a corner kick will be upcoming nonetheless for Duluth FC. Well, that was Iggy Mia who stepped in front of that one. Gotta look for the armband and for the hair. He's got the sweetest flow on this team too, if you ask me. Iggy Mia, number 6. Ronaldo Fortune was charging in for Duluth and had some good space. And that attempt goes out of bounds. Last touch by Duluth, so Med City will take over possession. Seeing Med City stack guys in the box just now reminded me what I saw earlier today. It is the 17th anniversary of the 2002 World Cup game between United States and Germany, when the United States was potentially robbed of a spot in the World Cup semifinals. That's right, kids. The United States, the men's team, made a World Cup and won a game in the round of 16 just 17 short years ago, but lost to Germany 1-0 on a uncalled handball by Germany, which if you scored one goal against that German team, Oliver Kahn, the goalkeeper, that was awfully impressive. He had several shutouts during their run, including that one, but as an American, of course, I remember how he got that. Cheating, of course, that handball. Still my favorite men's national team we've ever had, and if you've been watching any of the 2019 World Cup, the women have been awfully impressive as well, coming out of group play with an 18-0 aggregate. A lot of good soccer going on, so we appreciate you joining our stream here this evening and all the fans in attendance here tonight as well. I think this is our highest attended game so far, and it makes sense between these two highly powered teams, Duluth and Med City FC, sitting at 1-3 in the conference standings, both undefeated, and previously tying in their first matchup about a month ago. So this one's huge, no doubt about it. A draw keeps things status quo, but if either team can come away with a victory, a 3-0 type of standings move could dictate which one of these teams ends up in the playoffs, if not both of them. But either one gets tagged with a loss tonight, that'll definitely hurt their chances. Particularly the home team, Med City, who's already 2 points behind Duluth. But only 20 minutes in, and we're tied 0-0. That's Jake Starling on the far side for Duluth. Sends it back to George Proctor. First 10 minutes for Med City, they were very aggressive on the attack, and so I think now that initial storm has been weathered well by Duluth. They knew how bad Med City wanted to come out here and take an early lead, especially with that disappointing draw last week against Sioux Falls. And so they've been able to do that, but not too many scoring threats just yet for Duluth. They've had 2 corner kicks. Med City's had 3. And they all came in the first couple minutes. As Iggy Mia sends that one up high. Looking for Alan Shembry-Wismeyer, who gets tied up. And they do blow the whistle on Damia Viator of Duluth.
There is one goal to outperform. Mayo Clinic sports medicine experts help athletes to optimize performance, minimize risk, and recover from injuries. Mayo Clinic sports medicine is proud to be the official medical and performance provider for Med City FC. Meet your goals by visiting sportsmedicine.mayoclinic.org.
So Nicholas Raisler lining it up here. Sending it in with the left foot, bending. Header is caught by keeper Sullivan Lauderdale. Couldn't quite see who even got that header off for Med City, but pretty good pass by Raisler. I think it was Ida Paulos who was down there. He's maybe the tallest player for Med City. That would make sense. He quickly retreated after the shot attempt was caught. And now a reversal of the call. I thought Duluth was going to take over there, but instead it's Med City with a free kick from midfield. Trying to eavesdrop on the conversation between the official and Duluth's head coach. And it's a bit of a mystery, but you know what? It'll work out for Med City. And that was a errant send-in. So it went over the top of everybody and wasted opportunity there for the Mayhem, who halfway through this first half have looked like the better team, but the scoreboard is still even. As Iggy Mia heads that one forward. Fortune, a nice pass back to Carlisle Jr. Charging up the right side is Jr. Back to Fortune. Deeks by Raisler. Goes into the corner. Iggy Mia there again. And Mia forces Fortune not quite out of bounds. The cross goes wide. He had Cathuria there in the area. So again, it's Ronaldo Fortune. With a name like Ronaldo, you're born to be a soccer player, I suppose. It's Med City sending it in here. Nice play by Jack Hilton-Jones, taking that one away from Carlisle Jr. And here comes Med City up your near side. Finlay Bloodworth dribbling it in. Bloodworth into the corner. And he's knocked out of bounds by David Rice. Oh, and a late whistle there. Wasn't sure if they were going to call it on Andrew Wilkinson, but they do. But it'll be Duluth possession. 25 minutes gone here in half number 1.
Firebrick Bread with Fired Pizza is a proud sponsor of Mid City FC. Get a delicious pizza at the Rochester's, Embraya, and Lake City Farmers Markets this summer. Looking for something different for your next party? We cater private events right to your house. Look for our full-page ad in the Game Day program or go to firebrickbread.com for more information. Firebrick Bread, wood-fired pizza.
Tristan Jumeau trying to get it across midfield here. Marco Fernandez gets tied up by a couple of Duluth defenders. And now Soham Kathuri up. He's had a busy first half. Coming in the left side, Bloodworth sending that one out of bounds. And Duluth will have to inbound, I believe, not a true corner. Tough to see from our angle up here in the booth. And now the inbound goes out of bounds. Last touch by Duluth. So a goalie kick coming up, and A.J. Jarvis wastes no time sending it in up the far side. Raisler with it. Giving to Fernandez and looking to find a seam in this Duluth defense. Jack Hilton-Jones at midfield. You know, Med City wants to try and set something up here for Francisco Neto, who has 7 goals on the season, was named the NPSL National Player of the Week earlier this year. And is also, I don't have the stats in front of me, but number of assists this year as well. Being told by Frank Moline, who's a font of information, Carlisle Jr. was named the NPSL National Player of the Week once this year too. So this region getting some notice as Nicholas Raisler sends that one over the top of Nicholas Idapoulos. And you can tell Med City, they are really attacking up high here. Not sure if that's the book on goalkeeper Sullivan Lauderdale or what, but Med City has really been going to the well for headers a lot more frequently than at least I'm accustomed to seeing. But again, time of possession has to be in favor of Med City at this point. And they're on the attack again. Tristan Jumeau, a good ball handler. Passes back to Jack Hilton-Jones. Now Nicholas Raisler back to Jumeau. Jumeau up ahead for Shembry Wismeyer. He's got some space. Couple defenders on him now. Passes it backwards. Now Jumeau up high. Tipped away by Duluth. Jumeau and Fernandez in the area. Now back the other way comes Duluth. Not anymore as Finlay Bloodworth cuts it off. Jarvis comes out of the box, boots that one high into the evening sky. And Rice gets tangled up with Jumeau once again. Officials don't blow the whistle on that. And Lauderdale will send that one towards midfield. Wilkinson up high as we reach the 30-minute mark here of the first half. Jumeau with a deke, back out to Bloodworth. And that one booted by Duluth. Cleared out. Everybody resets.
Toyota is proud to support Med City FC this season. Whether it is beautiful style, advanced technology, or superior safety features, Toyota has a vehicle that is right for you. Visit Toyota.com or stop by Rochester Toyota to see the all-new redesigned Toyota lineup. Toyota, let's go places.
So Duluth passing it around here in their own zone. They've weathered the early storm here by Med City. And now David Rice. It looks like Duluth is going to make a substitution already here. Liam Condone getting ready to come in. And you wonder if that's for injury purposes as Soam Kathuria comes out. And Kathuria was doing some good work out there. So he heads to the bench, gets a hug from his coach. Early substitution here for Duluth.
Substitution for Duluth, number 15, Liam Condone. And number 13, Soam Kathuria.
.32 minutes gone here in the first half. No score between these top-level teams of the NPSL North Conference. Again, they tied 1-1 earlier this season. And so don't be surprised if we're knotted up going into the half. As Duluth makes some nice passes, the Green Blues. We haven't been corrected yet, so that's what we're going to go with. Of course, I can't tweet while I call games and read advertisements. Not that talented yet, but maybe that's a good thing. And Med City quickly to work here as Fortune got tangled up with Hilton Jones. Was looking at the official who made a quick call, and Hilton Jones didn't waste any time. Nice pass there by Neto up ahead to Shembry Wismeyer, but he mishandles it. And now he'll cross. That one headed out of bounds, and a corner kick upcoming for Med City.
Another mayhem corner kick brought to you by $5 Pizza.
So Francisco Neto gets set for his fourth corner of this first half. Neto going high once more. Headed around, and I think Med City saying that one was last touched by Duluth. And the officials disagree. No, they don't. It will be another corner coming up here for Med City. So now Neto will try it from the other side. Neto sends it by everybody. That one touched again by Duluth, out of bounds, but it'll be Med City inbounding now from the near side. Finlay Bloodworth coming in to do that. Guessing we'll see a little bit more stoppage time here. Last week against Sioux Falls in the first half, the officials awarded 0 minutes of stoppage time. I had never seen that before, at least in a Med City match. Usually there's a minute or two. Not the case last week, but just with Med City setting up all these corners, I imagine we'll get 2 or 3, although we're still 10 minutes away from that point. Handball called on Med City, and so Duluth takes over.
The Sawbones Army, let me hear ya. They were founded in March 2017 as a group of local individuals who are passionate about supporting Med City FC and continuing to grow our love of the beautiful game in Rochester. The purpose of the group is to create a rooting section of the club complete with drumming, flags, scarves, chanting, and cheering. Check out the Sawbones Army on Facebook and Med City FC supporters group and join the mayhem.
Duluth back in Med City territory here as they pass, looking forward for Ronaldo Fortune. And now Tristan Jumeau passes back to Hilton Jones. A lot of communication tonight, too, by Med City. I'm hearing them call each other's names out, and just wasn't as much of that last week. Although the window was shut. It's a good point by Frank Moline. That's the urgency level tonight, I think, has led to more talk, even if we couldn't hear it as much last week. We also didn't have 300 people here last week like we do tonight, so I thought maybe sound would travel through the one open window that we did have here. It is an absolute picture-perfect evening here in Rochester tonight. Nice little breeze to keep the bugs away, and a perfect night for soccer on summer solstice weekend, so we should have some good natural light deep into this match. There's 37 minutes gone here in the first half, and we're just starting to notice the lights. Coming up on 8 o'clock here. As Jumeau sending that one forward for Bloodworth. Too strong. Duluth wisely lets it go out of bounds, and they will take over possession.
Every sponsor is vital to the success of Med City FC. We'd like to recognize our 2019 player-level sponsors for their support. Praska Orthodontics, Old Abe Coffee Company, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, Rose's Cleaning Services, and the Rochester Post-Bulletin.
Andrew Wilkinson with it here for Med City. Walking it up past midfield. Chooses to send it up the far side. That one's headed away by a Duluth defender. Now Fernandez chasing after it. Raisler up ahead to Mia. Mia makes a nice move into the corner. Tries the cross, just too many bodies there for Duluth. Oh, and Duluth doesn't like that call. It looked like Idapolos may have touched that one, but it'll be Med City possession anyway. Now Wilkinson up ahead. Fernandez. Raisler back to Fernandez. Fernandez from the top corner. Sending one in just in front of Alan Shembry Wismeyer. Oh, that was a good chance for the Mayhem. Just a bit too strong as Shembry Wismeyer put everything he had into that one. Just a tish out in front. A good look from Fernandez. But still no score as we approach 40 minutes here in the first half. Dorian Barberio sending it forward for Duluth. And now James Westfield passing it forward in the corner, and careful. Nice play there by A.J. Jarvis. Back the other way come the Mayhem. Could really put a charge into this crowd and into this team's momentum going into halftime. With a goal here heading into the locker rooms, but that latest threat comes to an end. Now Raisler simply taking it away from David Rice. Nice play by Raisler. He has had a fantastic first half as Bloodworth tries the cross. That one blocked again. And now here comes Rice up the near side. Rice sending it to Fortune in the middle. Good shot, but blocked away by Itapolos. And now Raisler up ahead to Neto. He's got two defenders in front of him. Neto dribbling it in, takes a strike from up high and goes wide left. But Neto could feel the defense closing in on him, so good to get a shot off at least. A good series of plays there by Med City. At first was Itapolos with the blocked shot. Eventually getting it ahead to Neto, who's another very talented ball handler for Med City. Who regains possession here. 42 minutes gone in the first half. Neto passing to Raisler. Raisler over to Fernandez. But again, Duluth ending the threat here.
Attention fans, Jorge from our Med City staff will be walking through the stands here looking for volunteers for a fun game at halftime and a chance to win a Med City prize. We want Jorge to come and find you. Put your hand up. You can participate in our halftime activity. Just wave your hands frantically and Jorge will come and find you.
Forty-three and a half minutes gone here in the first half. No score, but a good effort so far by Med City as Rice has it amongst a bunch of defenders. Actually, that may have been Junior with it, but nonetheless, the Med City defense closing in on him well as Mia sends that one back out towards midfield. Raisler, another nice play by him. He has had a tremendous first half. Giving way to Fernandez. Gets cut off by Dorian Barberio, at least for a moment. Now Tristan Jumeau on the right side. Sending one up high, bending it in. The header over the top. Oh, Sullivan Lauderdale may have pushed that one over the crossbar. And he did, which leads to another corner kick for Med City.
Another corner kick brought to you by $5 Pizza.
The sixth corner kick of the first half coming up here for Med City as we approach the 45-minute mark. We'll let you know how much stoppage time when we hear it. Neto sends it up high. A lot of traffic there. Comes out to Fernandez. Back kick. Shot and blocked. What a save by Sullivan Lauderdale once again. The ball squirted through just enough, and I couldn't see who got the shot off for Med City, but it was a good look, the best look they've had all half, and now the officials are going to call no stoppage time. So after I predicted there'd be some from setting up all those corner kicks, we go into the break. 0-0, but a great effort in that first half by Med City. You are watching Med City FC football. About 3.5 minutes until we start the second half here between Med City and Duluth. And I mentioned it during that first half, Med City certainly seemed to be the team outplaying Duluth, but of course the main statistic, we are still at no score in this matchup. Med City was 6 shots on goal to only 1 from Duluth, and of course every shot has been saved tonight. Don't have time of possession, but 6 corner kicks from Med City versus 2 for Duluth. 7 fouls on Duluth and 4 on Med City. No offsides calls, no yellow cards, no red cards, no penalty kicks. And again, about 3 minutes away from the second half between these two teams. Med City at 18 points in the season, Duluth with 20, the top-ranked team in the NPSL North Conference. And so both teams with a lot on the line tonight with only 4 conference games left. Top 2 teams in the conference make the playoffs. You're watching Med City FC Mayhem. So here we are from beautiful Rochester, ready to start the second half between Duluth and Med City. Still no score in this fierce rivalry of the NPSL North Conference. 5 previous meetings between these two teams. Duluth has won twice. They've tied 3 times, so Med City looking for their first ever win over Duluth. I believe it's the only team in the NPSL that they don't have a victory against in their 3-year history. And we are underway as Duluth begins with possession. Again, in that first half for Med City, 6 shots on goal, 8 shots in all. So they were definitely the more aggressive team in that first half, but Duluth, give them credit. They kept Med City off the board. A couple brilliant plays by goalkeeper Sullivan Lauderdale, particularly late in that first half, keeping Med City off the board. I mean, they are undefeated after all. 6-0-2 on the season. And one of those draws coming against Med City. These two teams switching sides. You can see it's a little bit windy out there, but it doesn't really give either team an advantage, as it's more of a crosswind coming from the far side of your screen towards us here in the booth. As Med City quickly working high for Francisco Neto and knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Duluth. So Finlay Bloodworth heads over there. He'll inbound looking for Jumeau. Or at least he was. Now Jumeau gets it. Now he has it taken away. Fortune with it at midfield. Passing ahead, too strong. James Whitfield comes and gets it. Carlisle Jr. dribbling ahead. He has it taken away. Strong header there by George Proctor to deflect away the Med City attack. Couple minutes in here to this second half. Nice little give and go there. Jake Starling and James Westfield. Here comes Starling on the right side. The crossing pass. And he went wide right. So for Duluth, only their third shot of this match. A.J. Jarvis has only had to stop one shot here this evening. Now Raisler tipping it forward. Oh, Francisco Neto just barreled over George Proctor. Don't think he's going to get a yellow card here, but he is going to get a talking to. No, he does get a yellow card. Right? See that? Maybe not. Couldn't tell. The official was reaching in his pocket as if he was going to pull that card out. At any rate, Duluth with it at midfield. 4 minutes gone here in this second half.
Soccer World is a proud sponsor of Med City FC, offering youth and adult needs, classes for kids of all ages, and space rented for birthday parties or other special occasions. Soccer World offers the ideal place for indoor soccer in Rochester. Check out their website at www.soccerworldmn.com or call them at 507-424-3018.
Strong start to the second half for Duluth as they've been on the attack for these first few minutes. Raisler sending that one the wrong way. Fortune trying to track it down for Duluth. It's tipped out. Junior ahead to Westfield. Westfield again from the right side. Puts one up high. Too strong. And out of bounds. No, it did stay in play. And a dangerous save there. Duluth trying to say that one crossed the goal line. Oh, my goodness. So, yeah, no goal line technology, of course, as I'm complaining about the 2002 World Cup and a handball that was right in the line and all that. But so A.J. Jarvis played that one. First off, I thought the ball was going to trickle out of bounds. There was just enough English on it to keep it in play. Duluth got off a great shot. Jarvis, mishandled it at first and then did a matrix maneuver to just throw it out. Fortunate that nobody was there from Duluth to pound in a rebound right away, and Med City was able to clear it. So by far, the closest thing we've had to a goal here tonight. Med City fortunate to keep Duluth off the board as we hit the 51-minute mark. Iggy Mia inbounds one here from the near side and too strong for Marcos Fernandez. And so Med City has to retreat to their own end and reset here. Wilkinson up ahead for Shembry Wismeyer. Shembry Wismeyer gets cut off there. Of course, he's the one of the locals on this team from Rochester, Minnesota. A deep roster, of course, here too for Med City. We'll see if they do go to the bench at all tonight. Would expect to see maybe an able Gabrikiros come in at some point. He's had some good run off the bench this season, as has Jordan Lennon and Tiernan Talbot. Duluth with it in their own end. 8 minutes into this second half. And that one sent out of bounds. So Finlay Bloodworth will send it in here for Med City, and not sure what the debate is. The official's a little slow here to get the ball back in play, but Fernandez has it, far side. And Jumeau frustrated he couldn't chase that one down. Now Fortune with it for a moment until DePaulos clears it away. And an offside call on Med City. That's our first offside call this entire match. A little surprising, especially in a matchup between these two teams, knowing how important a single goal would be. That's typically when teams try to push the envelope a little bit more, but I suppose you could argue they're playing disciplined as well, but Raisler near side, up ahead to Neto, who gets pushed down from behind. And fans wanting a card here as George Proctor immediately went to the official saying that's what's happening to me. So just returning the favor from a few moments ago from Neto. The official's doing a nice job of talking it out with both sides. Now, granted, I've only seen this Duluth team when they've played against Med City, but every time they do spend a lot of time talking with the officials. Hopefully that's not the case during all their matches throughout the year. Fernandez puts that one high. Tipped out of the box, chased down by Damia Villader. Hilton Jones tries to keep that one in bounds, can't. And with 10 minutes gone here in this second half, Duluth maintaining possession. Nice pass up ahead there by Westchild. Gets it back. Saved by Jarvis. James Westfield had a little space to work. Maybe just ran out of gas there at the end, as he was only able to put in a changeup on Jarvis, who threw his whole body in front of that shot attempt. And still no score here. Raisler getting under that one a bit too much. Now Fernandez back to Raisler. Nice move. Raisler with the shot and deflected away. Sullivan Lauderdale with another fantastic save. Med City will have a corner kick and another opportunity here.
Another corner kick brought to you by $5 Pizza.
So Francisco Neto getting ready to send it in. Sullivan Lauderdale has been fantastic tonight, but Med City needing just to get by him once. Almost did there as Iggy Mia. His shot went in, went off a Duluth defender. Of course, anytime you see that many bodies, you're looking for a handball and hit the side. And maybe he got squeezed between the side and the arm of a Duluth defender on that shot attempt by Mia. But no call. And Mia getting tangled up there with Duluth FC's Dorian Barbario, kind of giving a look to one another. Mia walks away, calms down, and comes back into the fray. So here comes Med City on the far side. Sending it up ahead, looking for Fernandez. Too strong. He may have gotten in the way, too, of Iggy Mia. Had a little better angle on it, perhaps. Mia racing back on defense. Get by Westfield. No score. Almost 14 minutes into this second half. Again, in the history of these two teams, they've tied 3 times, and Duluth has won by a single goal the other 2 times. As Neto, nice pass up ahead. Shembry Wismeyer too high on that attempt. A good attack again by Med City, but they don't come away with a goal. They simply need to stay the course here. A lot of time left in this match, as Duluth starts to walk it up.
Since 2013, Rose's Cleaning Services has been offering top-level professional residential cleaning services at prices that won't break the bank. Schedule your free in-home consultation and get 15% off of your monthly plans when you mention Med City FC. Visit rosescleaningservices.com or call 507-358-8604 and let Rose's team of experienced and attentive staff care for your home so you can get back to the things that matter most. Family, friends, leisure, and all the things that make life great. Reliable, on-time, skilled, affordable services. That's the Roses guarantee.
Alan Shembry Wismeyer over in that right corner once again. Tries to deke the defender here and has it tipped out of bounds. It'll be a corner coming up for Med City. Misplay there by Damia Viator.
Another Med City corner kick brought to you by $5 Pizza.
So Francisco Neto, the leading goal scorer in the NPSL North Conference, gets ready to send this one in. Good attempt, and again, it's caught by Lauderdale. He has been a brick wall this evening. Not one of his easier saves, but he hasn't flinched. Couple very difficult saves by Lauderdale. He has been Duluth's most valuable player here tonight. As Westfield comes in on the right side with a little room to work. Tries to cross, and Itapoulos deflects that one out of bounds, but a corner kick will be coming up now for Duluth. 16 and a half minutes into this second half. Westfield lines it up, and he'll stay near. Duluth sending it in. That one headed up high, stays in the box. Fortune tries to make a play on it. Keeps it in bounds, and eventually Jarvis chases it down and gets pushed from behind. And again, these officials hanging on to their cards. I mean, just a straight up shove from behind. That was Lucas Jacobs. As Jarvis corralled it, Jacobs came up from behind. He's kind of straddled over top of him and just pushed him right back down. If nothing else, that's poor sportsmanship, but players only really care if they're given a card for it. Shemry Wismeyer, the pass back to Raisler. They're looking for Mia up front. It's flicked out of bounds by Duluth. Nice play there by Fernandez, trying to center it. And now Westfield pulled from behind by Mia. And Mia's going to get another talking to by the official. This is the second time this half. Yeah, these officials spending more time talking to these young men than I'm used to seeing anyway. But the official's telling Mia there to think as he was pointing to his head. But you know what? I think maybe that's part of the philosophy by Mia. If you're going to push our guys, I'm the captain. I'm going to make sure we're going to be just as physical as you are. Nice pass up ahead. Neto. Good box out. Tries to pass with the heel to Jumeau, and now it's taken away. And quickly the other way comes Duluth. Viator gets it ahead. Now Jacobs in the middle. Jacobs over to Junior. Junior with the left-footed shot deflected away. Nice play by A.J. Jarvis. Things are heating up here in this second half. It'll be a corner kick up coming for Duluth, but that was a heck of a shot by Carlisle. And after a number of good saves by Sullivan, Lauderdale, and Duluth, A.J. Jarvis has made a couple brilliant stops of his own. So the quick corner, they pass it in, send it up over the top. A lot of traffic still in the area. And now Junior again, stopped by Jarvis. So two shots there by Carlisle Jr. And Duluth, a lot more shot attempts. Well, I think they have double the shot attempts just in this first 20 minutes of this second half than they had in the entire first half. Much more aggressive approach by the Green Blues, whatever they're called. I promised we do research, just that one, the whole nickname thing was tough to locate, so. 66 minutes gone in this match. No score, but plenty of drama. Jacobs with it in the middle, passes back. Dorian Barbario. Now off to the far side. Lining it up for Junior again. Another big strike with the left foot, deflected away by the Med City defense. Meanwhile, Med City getting ready to substitute in Tiernan Talbot. And it looks like he's coming in for Iggy Mia.
Substitution for Med City, number 7, Tiernan Talbot, in for number 6, Iggy Mia.
Duluth inbounding on the far side, 67 minutes gone in this match. And that one quickly deflected out of bounds. Last touch by Duluth. Finlay Bloodworth will send it in for Med City, who takes a moment to catch their breath. Keeps it up on that far side. Shembry Wismeyer roundhouses it up the sideline. And they pass it back to Lauderdale. So after a frenetic pace again to the first 20 minutes of this half, both teams take a moment to catch their breath. Pass too strong there, so Med City will take over on the far side near midfield. Shembry Wismeyer heading that one. Now Tristan Jumeau gets some space. Fighting off a couple defenders, sends in a cross, but again, only one Med City attacker in the area. Raisler has to chase it down. That one deflected out of bounds. And a corner kick upcoming. Tough to see from this angle because of the way this booth has been constructed. But it is indeed a corner coming up.
Another corner kick brought to you by $5 Pizza.
So Med City has definitely had some chances on these corners here tonight. Neto sending it far side and again over the top. That was Tristan Jumeau. Well timed. Good speed. The way Lauderdale's been playing, I'm sure he may have gotten a hand on it anyway, but just a bit too high, but by no more than a foot. So still no score. So Duluth looking a bit deflated after that good pace to the beginning of this second half. They had a couple good shot attempts. Jarvis making some good saves, and now Wilkinson misplays that one. But Med City able to recover nicely. Raisler near side, tied up with Westfield, and they do blow the whistle for the foul. Med City looking to push the pace once again. Wilkinson at midfield. Sends one to Fernandez. Neto has some space. Nice pass ahead to Talbot, and he misses it. He was all by himself and started to think before he received the pass, but a misplay as Jake Starling comes in and deflects that one out of bounds, so a corner kick coming up for Med City.
Another corner kick brought to you by $5 Pizza.
So the fans can feel it. They're making some noise here. These corner kicks have been good, and there's the goal! finally, Med City able to push through. And I can't even tell you who scored it because he's being attacked right now. It was Nicholas Raisler punching it in the 71st minute for Med City. And they have a 1-0 lead over their rival Duluth.
Scoring for Med City off the corner kick, number 20, Nicholas Raisler. Assisted by number 12, Francisco Neto. And 10 lucky fans will win free pizza. $5 pizza.
So a goal in the 71st minute by Nicholas Raisler gives Med City a much-desired 1-0 lead over the unbeaten and top-ranked Duluth. They sit at 6-0-2 in conference play. They've made the playoffs each of the last 3 years. And Med City's been on the outside looking in primarily because of Duluth. That can all change if they can hang on for 20 more minutes here tonight. Lauderdale has been brilliant for Duluth. He had no chance on that attempt as that ball was placed perfectly by Neto. It got by almost everybody. And then on the far right side was Nicholas Raisler, who got it at good depth and just hammered it in. There were so many close calls on those corners and some nice saves as well by Lauderdale. And now Med City can't relax. They've got 17 minutes to go here, along with stoppage time. So the strategy changes, but not by much. They got to make sure nothing gets behind them here. Fortune, number 31 for Duluth, might be one to look out for, as he is a speedy player. As Talbot cuts that one off, and now Raisler sends that one up ahead to Shembry Wismeyer. It's the thing, too, when you score late like this, you don't want to become too conservative. Sometimes the best defense is a good offense. Keep it in your opponent's zone as Raisler passes to Fernandez. Tipped around, and now here comes Duluth. And a whistle and a yellow card on Fernandez for Med City. Yeah, it had to be after the play there as Fernandez had it deflected away.
Yellow card issued to number 15 for Med City, Marcos Fernandez.
It's a 1-0 lead for Med City as we approach the 75-minute mark here in this match. And now Talbot gets whistled for the foul off the 50-50 ball. It's got a few fans here less than impressed, I would say, after the yellow card on Fernandez. Again, couldn't really tell what happened with Fernandez. Had to be after the play because there was nothing that would have constituted a yellow card. But now Carlisle Jr., again, a former NPSL National Player of the Week, gets ready for a free kick from an opportune spot here. Sends one up high and right into the waiting arms of A.J. Jarvis, who catches it cleanly but lands to the ground just for good measure. And they reverse field here. Talbot up ahead to Racler. You're going to see Duluth take a few more chances here as well. Not a lot of gambles to this point. Shembry Wismeyer up ahead. Neto in the area. Gets cut off, and they're looking for a handball there. They do get the call. It's a handball on Duluth. So a huge opportunity coming up here for Med City with Francisco Neto. He'll be awarded a penalty kick. And this could put it away right here. Penalty kick for Francisco Neto. What a showdown here. Sullivan Lauderdale, one of the better keepers. Again, Duluth coming into this match has only given up 4 goals all season long in 8 matches. Lauderdale, a big reason why. Here comes Neto on the PK. He puts it in! Francisco Neto with his 8th goal of the season. And Med City has a 2-0 lead over Duluth.
Scoring on the penalty kick, number 12, Francisco Neto.
What an absolute turn of events here as Med City has taken a 2-0 lead over Duluth late in this match. We're approaching the 78th minute. And after that handball, took a second, by the way. We heard just about everybody in the stadium yell handball before the officials did indeed acknowledge it. And if Med City could have their choice of someone to shoot a PK, it's Francisco Neto, leading the North Conference with 8 goals this season now. And a substitution here for Med City.
Substitution for Med City, number 22, Nacho Grito. In for number 11, Tristan Giroux.
So now look for Duluth to take plenty of chances here as Westfield, the header, that shot just over the top. Jacobs sent that one over, and Westfield is losing his mind. I'm not sure what he's upset about. But it will be a corner kick upcoming for Duluth. I'll ask Frank Moline if he saw anything that would have made Westfield so upset. There certainly wasn't a handball or anything like that. Westfield had a pretty good look on it. The Med City defense recovered. And so now Duluth gets ready for the corner, and again, these officials continue to talk to the players out on the field. And another shot missed by Duluth. A close call. That one got by some traffic, but now for Med City, I'm sure they want to hold on at least to this 2-0 lead. You don't want to give up a goal right away, even with 10 minutes left. And pretty much a line change coming here for Duluth. 3 new players coming in.
In the match now for Duluth, Julian Neto, Aiden Hill. Also in for Duluth, Nicholas Torres Masafiero.
So we'll see what Duluth has off their bench here in terms of magic. They need some. 81 minutes gone in this match. Duluth staring at their first loss of this season. If this result holds, Med City would leapfrog Duluth. And depending the result of the Minneapolis City match, Med City could move from number 3 to number 1. But if this holds, Med City will come away with 3 points. Duluth obviously 0. As Duluth continues to complain. But Duluth at 20 points, Med City at 18. So the Mayhem would take a 1-point lead over this rival. And oh, by the way, this would be their first ever victory over Duluth. Gotta like their odds here with the 2-0 lead. 82 minutes left, but stranger things have happened. Or 82 minutes gone. I'm a lover of multiple sports, and typically we're used to the clock going the other way, and so once in a while I do misspeak. So good catch there by our producer and cameraman, Chris Roberts. Yeah, my energy level would be a lot less if we had 82 minutes yet to go. Jarvis sending that one forward. Hilton Jones back to Garrido. Tipped out of bounds, and I think last touch by Westfield. So Talbot will send it in for Med City. They will gladly play some patty cake near midfield here. Med City is empty, or not Med City rather, Duluth has emptied the bench. Adrian Leal coming in for Duluth now as well, number 17. Idapolo sends that one forward. Neto going to go ahead and chase it down. He's looking for more maybe. As Lauderdale sends that one towards midfield. Headed back by Talbot. And Talbot getting physical there. And they call it on Talbot. Looked like he was getting grabbed all sorts of different ways by Aiden Hill. The biggest key for Med City right now, just time. We're up to 84 minutes now in the match. So even if they're getting tied up, even if the whistles are going against them, they want to keep that clock moving, keeping the stoppage time to a minimum, and keeping Duluth far away from goalkeeper A.J. Jarvis, who has played tremendously tonight. Especially to begin this second half when Duluth was really coming at Med City with a number of good attacks. Jarvis answered the call. Idapolo sends that one forward. Quickly deflected out of bounds. Nice give and go here by Duluth. A good defense. That's 34 for Duluth. We don't have a number for him. I'll assume that's Jordan Alonge, number 37, and then a shot and a goal by Duluth. They're still alive. It's 2-1 in favor of Med City, but Duluth not dead yet.
Marcus Jacobs.
So now here comes Med City the other direction. A good chance here, actually. Shembry Wismeyer gets tied up by a long game. Deflected out of bounds and a corner kick upcoming from Med City. That's how they scored their first goal of the night. See if maybe they can answer that late Duluth goal.
Another corner kick brought to you by $5 Pizza.
So Francisco Neto this time goes short. Shembry Wismeyer feeds it back to Neto. Splits two defenders and shot and a goal! Off the rebound, Neto gets picked up by Jack Hilton Jones. And just like that, Med City has a 3-1 lead.
Scoring for Med City, number 14, Jack Hilton Jones.
You guys remember when the score was 0-0? That was only 18 minutes ago. Here it is, 3-1. Med City off the goal by Jack Hilton Jones. Set up tremendously by Francisco Neto. So Neto off the corner kick to replay that, or recap that sequence rather. Neto passed to Shembry Wismeyer, got it right back, split two defenders, and got a great shot on goal. It was deflected away by Sullivan Lauderdale, but then Hilton Jones, there for the rebound, punched it in, and Med City has a 3-1 lead, and they are just moments from knocking off Duluth for the first time in franchise history. Garrido passes back to Jarvis. Back the other way comes Duluth, obviously desperate here. And so for Med City, just make that clock tick as much as you possibly can. And Duluth thought they had a corner kick upcoming here, but was last touched by a member of Duluth. And Francisco Neto cramping up here. What a night he's had. And we've said that most matches this season. And some sarcastic chants from the other end is Neto. They're trying to... Some players from Duluth are thinking that Neto's trying to stall here. But again, if a player's injured, they can just add it to stoppage time. So Francisco Neto walks off to a giant round of applause, and with good reason, as we cross 90 minutes. Neto will be replaced by Abel Gaber Kiros. And the goal kick here from Med City. We are into stoppage time. We don't know how much stoppage time yet. When we know, you'll know. Ball stays at midfield here as Raisler Tries to send it forward. Again, Med City will gladly keep it here at midfield. Maybe they put a nail on a coffin here, though, too. Style points, never a bad thing. A 3-1 lead for Med City into stoppage time. Again, if this holds, Med City will improve to 6-0-3 on the season. Duluth will fall to 6-1-2. Neither one of these teams has been tagged to the loss yet this season. But Med City moments away from their biggest win of this season. These two teams played to a draw earlier this season, as was the case with Minneapolis City, who's also in the mix with 19 points. Med City with 18 coming in, Duluth with 20. So obviously Med City would leapfrog Duluth with 3 points here tonight and then still have time to take care of business. 4 games left in conference play. But this pretty much is a 3-team race. Never did hear how much stoppage time we have, and so we'll wait for the officials to blow this match to an end. Nice pass up ahead to Gabriel Kiros. Has it in the corner. Makes a move. Nice crossing pass. That was cut off by Dami Aviator. Alonje with it, far side. And a handball by Med City. Duluth hurries back in. And a trip there, and he knew it. That is a yellow card. And as we finally reach dusk here tonight, just outside the box, but a good spot here for Duluth. Yellow card was issued to we think it was Jack Hilton Jones, but tough to see. That's what we're going to go with here as the shot comes in off the top bar and then punched away by Jarvis, in case there hasn't been enough drama here tonight. So another corner kick coming up here by Duluth.
Yellow card issued to number 14, Jack Hilton Jones.
So there's the corner. Tipped back in and out in front of Viator. Adrian Leal had a shot there. As Jarvis gets it lined up. Closing moments of a gigantic win here for Med City. 3-1 their score. That's about the only drama left, is are they going to win by 1 or 2? Duluth just missed a moment ago. But I can't imagine there's much time left. We don't know how much stoppage, but all the fans with their hands in the air waiting for that final whistle. Tips around. Cross goes wide. Garrido sends that one back towards midfield, and there it is, the final whistle. The sideline erupts for Med City as they have knocked off the number 1 team in the conference by a final score of 3-1. We were rewarded with beautiful weather here tonight and fantastic play on the field as Med City scored goals by Nicholas Raisler at the 71st minute, then a penalty kick by Francisco Neto at 77. Duluth did get one on the board late, but then Jack Hilton-Jones answered in the 87th minute to make the final 3-1 in favor of Med City. Stick around. We'll have a post-game interview with Neil Cassidy, the head coach for the victorious Mayhem. You're watching Med City FC football. Welcome back to the Rochester Regional Stadium as we await Neil Cassidy for the post-game interview. We'll go through a few stats here. Both teams with, oh, actually I'm a little behind on the stats here. Both teams with 8 shots on goal, but we have 8 saves for each team as well. It's a 3-1 final. So we'll work on Frank Malines. He was cheering a bit too much. So I'm going to assume Med City had 11 shots on goal to those 8 saves, as Duluth had only 1 shot on goal in that first half, so they did pick it up in the second half. Again, great play by A.J. Jarvis in the second half. 6 corners for Duluth, 11 for Med City, and of course they scored that first goal on the corner, and really their third goal, even though it was off a rebound, was set up by a set piece from the corner. So again, the main stat tonight, your final score. 3-1, Med City beating Duluth, gaining 3 points in the standings and leapfrogging Duluth, now up to 21 points in the season. Duluth sitting at 20. We'll have Neil Cassidy up here in a moment. You're watching Med City FC. Welcome to our post game. Neil Cassidy, the victorious coach, joining me in the booth tonight. And Coach, I'm just going to let you talk for a second. What are your takeaways, main takeaways, I guess, if you have some, from tonight's match?
Heart, desire, determination, brotherhood. That's pretty much it.
It was wild out there tonight. I mean, it's hard to believe the score was 0-0 70 minutes into this match, and then just a flurry of goals, starting with that corner kick. You had a good number of chances on those corners, and you finally pushed one through there.
Yeah, I mean, we kept, from let's go back to last week. Last week it was a game that we believe we should have won. It was a tie. Everybody was disappointed. It felt like a loss. We restructured things a little bit. The session we had yesterday was absolutely amazing, and I think it set us up for today. Pre-game was really, really solid. And we talked about, being there for each other and then weathering the storm. I think we controlled the majority of the game, the opportunities, the chances that we had. I think we could have been 2-3-0 up after the first 8 to 10 minutes. But you know what? They did what they needed to do. And I'm extremely proud of every single one of the guys, not only the ones playing, the ones in the bench, the one in the stands. It was a real family win for us today.
Yeah, some fantastic goalkeeping there as well. Kept both teams at bay for a while until the end there. Then you got the penalty kick, and then, of course, Duluth did score, making it 2-1, maybe tightening things up a little bit. But, again, Med City able to respond.
Yeah, we switched formations, with 12 minutes, 10 minutes to go, and you're one goal up in a tight game. We went a little bit more defensively, and I think they were starting to press. As they started to press, it opened up gaps. We had a couple more opportunities, and you saw what happened. We put one away, and again, I couldn't be prouder of the guys.
So you come away with 3 points tonight. Duluth obviously doesn't get any, and so you leapfrog them in the standings for now with 4 matches left in conference play. What does this do big picture-wise for this club?
We're still undefeated. We're the only undefeated team in the league now, so we've just got to take care of business. That's what it comes down to. And again, the strength that these guys showed, I'm just really, really impressed with them. And our coaching staff have put in a tremendous amount of work to make sure that we were ready for tonight's game, and we'll do the same for the next game.
And obviously next weekend a little different. You have a match on Friday and then on Sunday. Does that change the preparation at all this week?
It will a little bit. We always only take one game at a time. So now it's time to discuss the next game. So ask me next week.
But you got to celebrate a little bit tonight. This was a big victory, right?
There may be some beverages drunk.
I think you've earned it, Coach. So congratulations again on the win. The final score from Rochester, Med City 3, Duluth 1. Join us again next week for our live stream of the game on Friday. Yes, a Friday night game instead of Saturday, June 28th. We'll have you here. Thanks again for joining us. You've been watching Med City FC football.